Hi Wolves, this is Mrs. Story, your librarian, and this is my February edition of Story Time, my book talks for February. I'm sorry I'm not holding my dog right now. He wants to chew on his antler by the fireplace. So you're just gonna have to deal with me. Sorry about that. Cosmic sends his regards, however. The first book I want to tell you about is called A Curse So Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kemmerer. What does a 16-year-old teen living in DC, whose mother is dying of cancer, with shady dealers her dad owed money to, and a crown prince of the kingdom of Emberfall have in common? Might not seem like anything at first, but they are legit connected in very complex and magical ways. This modern version of Beauty and the Beast is a time-traveling fantasy similar to the genre of the show Outlander, where worlds, spells, and characters who have to make tough choices all overlap. Highly recommend. Cracking the Bell by Geoff Herbach. If I pronounced that author's name wrong, I apologize. Isaiah's saving grace in his life has been football, until he suffers from second impact syndrome. And then he struggles with being honest about his health. Everyone can tell something is off with Isaiah, but only Isaiah knows the truth. That second hit he took during the homecoming game affected his equilibrium. Football straightened out his life and gave him purpose, so he clings harder to it instead of telling his coach the truth. This is Friday Night Lights meets the movie Concussion. Highly recommend. Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. The Civil War and science collide in this historical fiction horror story. Jane is an expert zombie hunter, using her talents to fight a war that isn't North versus South. It's human versus the undead, and science versus ignorance. This story is fast-paced, suspenseful, and doesn't hold back. It's similar to a cross between the video game Red Dead Redemption and State of Decay. And I love this new genre where historical fiction gets mixed into supernatural events that are very twisty and you can't predict what's going to happen. Highly recommend. Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. Ella and Kev are siblings with a secret in the form of secret abilities. Kev was born during the Rodney King riots way back in the 1990s in LA, and that event overlapped with the secret their parents have kept hidden from everyone. This is a fast-paced, complex science fiction retelling that combines Black Lives Matter with a dystopian alternate reality, reminiscent of the science fiction hit Raising Dion. Highly recommend. Pride by E.B. Savoy. Zuri loves her summer visits to Brooklyn in New York City to visit her relatives, and this one is better than most because the Darcys are new neighbors. Very bourgeoisie neighbors, which includes the handsome Warren. Zuri and Warren have an undeniable attraction to each other, and at the same time, many differences in their opinions on gentrification, social issues, and more. In this modern, updated version of Pride and Prejudice, author E.B. Savoy proves that the canon of classic literature is for everyone and every time. Highly recommend. Realistic romance. Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. Claudia is desperate to figure out where her bestie Monday has gone. Monday's mother gives Claudia more questions than answers. And the school and society in general is more than ready to forget that Monday even existed. This new young adult author, Tiffany Jackson, her talent brings the genre of horror into everyday modern life. And she pays homage to classic horror stories, in this case, V.C. Andrews' Flowers in the Attic. Monday's Not Coming is a modern horror story that shows how scary social justice, or lack of it, can be. And she is one of my favorite authors to follow on Twitter because, dun dun dun, she's a dog mom. She actually has 2 doxies, and I love all of her posts. Anyways, thank you for watching today, and you can request any of these books you've heard about on the EHS Library website. Just go to the Request a Book section and fill out the form, or you can email me, either one is fine, at kastory@lwsd.org. Happy reading!